Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Oh, what's going on today, everybody? How we doing? Are you paying too much for fuel? If you're in the auto market, it is affecting not only how you run, but how people pay for cars later on. This is all going. We're going to be talking with Matt Bradley today. He's with Super Dispatch. We're going to find out exactly how the current situation with the fuel is affecting owner-operators, especially those that are hauling auto transport for sure. And this is part of a two-part. So the first part is going to be focused on fuel and how you can get better at understanding how that data is working in your operation. Our second part, which is going to come out the next episode, is going to be talking about data security and how you can vet the proper people that you're working with. It's going to be an important information for everybody as an owner-operator. So that's what we're doing today. Before we get into it, though, let me tell you a little bit about Rosedale Transport. They've got 15 terminals across North America, and you know what? They are one of the great safe fleets out there. Always trying to improve. Stable, been around for over 50 years, have local, regional, highway, and owner-operator positions. If that is for you and you got a good attitude, they want to hear from you. You can go to rosedalegroup.com and check on the careers tab, and you can find out all the information and what's currently available throughout their terminal network. All right, my friends, let's get into it. Here we go.
Be sure to share the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
All right, so Matt Bradley is the CEO for Super Dispatch, and we've had Super Dispatch on here before a few years ago, actually, a couple years ago, I think, and now diesel is at $5.61 per gallon, and that's nationally, and it's going up and down. As you can know, it's very hard to find out what's going on. A lot of it has to do with global issues, and some of it has to just do with the process itself. So we're going to be talking to Matt today exactly about how Super Dispatch evaluates all of that data, how it helps their customers run better. If you're an owner-operator in the auto hauling network, this is the episode for you. We're going to be talking about fuel surcharges, and how that affects the whole car pricing as a whole. So get ready for a very interesting conversation with Mr. Matt Bradley, and I say we get onto it right here, okay? Let's get started with our show for today. Here we go. All right, everybody, on the line, we got Matt Bradley, CEO of Super Dispatch. How are we doing today, Matt?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I live in the suburbs of San Francisco.
San Francisco. I still haven't got there. I did switch planes there once. I've been wanting to go there one day. One day I will get there. And you're the CEO, so give us an idea of what your day is in auto transport, because I imagine it's busy.
Yeah, I mean, my day, every day is different. Most days are great. And it's split amongst what I think you would imagine, which is spending time with our employees,
Yep.
And spending time with our customers.
Yeah.
And, my goal is, to make sure that we are building the absolute best products for car carriers,
Right.
car shippers, and car brokers. And so we're going to do that. And we have, I don't know, almost 10,000 paying customers across our product suite, and our carriers move about 1 million loads a month.
Right.
And so I think we see a lot of the auto transport network, and we get asked every day for more and more and more. And I think it's a duty and an obligation to build what our customers want.
I don't like to get political on this show, so we are not going to do that. But because you're auto, we have to ask the question. I would be remiss if I did. With all the tariffs, is your business busier or slower? I don't know if you did a lot, because I think you guys were based out of Canada originally. I'm not sure if I spoke with Beck. He was out west, right? If I remember correctly.
Beck's from Kansas City. Beck lives in Kansas City.
Oh, but I thought he was Canadian originally or something like that.
He is originally from Uzbekistan.
Okay.
So Central Asia. I think the short answer to your question around tariffs is that our company is growing pretty quickly.
Yep.
And so we're not seeing dips from any sort of political action.
Okay. Okay. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I was also just on your site and it had and I drove for 25 years, but I don't know auto haul. I never hauled autos. I have some friends who did, but that's about it. So I just noticed on your site there was a load for a car and it had X number of dollars and it was for one car. To give me an idea of how this works, is that how a load's built? Like someone would go, okay, here's a car here. We build, let's say 10 cars, and then we now take them all out west. Is that kind of how a load is built in auto? Or do I have that totally wrong? I don't know.
No, I think I mean, that is an example. I wouldn't say there's I think what's different between us and freight, and listen, I'm not the expert in freight because that's not what I spend time in all day, but my understanding of how that market works is that there can be a lot more point to point. Whereas I think the closest analogy to freight that is like ours is more LTL. And so I think it all depends. I think that the perfect load is, hey, you have you're a carrier and you have a relationship with the OEM, and the OEM needs to deliver full trucks to the dealership.
Yep.
And so you're delivering full trucks one way always. And then you got to figure out your backhaul.
Okay.
Um, I think that's one situation. I think there's another situation that's, hey, I'm kind of a scrappy carrier and I'm going from Florida to New York, and I found my 3 anchor cars. So I got my anchor load and I'm going there. Period, full stop. And then it's what can I round up along the way? So
Yeah.
I'm going to go through North Carolina, you know, I can pick up this load that's not that far off the interstate. And then I'm going to drop it off in DC because DC is on the way. And by the way, I'm going to pick up 3 cars in DC. And then all of a sudden, my 3 car move from New York to from Florida to New York has turned into 3 from Florida to New York, 4 from DC, 4 from New York, 4 from North Carolina to DC. And then I'm picking up 5 in DC. So I'm actually going to deliver 8 to New York in
Okay.
total. And, I think there's no, I would say one size fits all.
Right. No, that's good though. So there's there could be a lot of moving parts in here as there is. So we're going to talk about fuel and the auto transport. That seems to be a big topic, of course, with everybody, even here at home. I got rid of my pickup truck last year and I am kind of glad of that now because I didn't want to. How's it affecting the auto transport market? Is it the kind of industry that's, volatile when fuel's up and down, it really changes surcharges and stuff, or is it fairly flat? What's going on?
Okay. So the high level answer is, fuel really matters to our customers. The reason it really matters is it's 25% of their cost structure. And so these guys are at the pump every day,
Yeah.
or every other day, and they're buying 100 gallons or more of typically diesel too. And we've seen oil prices higher than they currently are.
Right.
So I think they were higher in 2022. Yep. In the post-COVID boom. But what makes this situation unique is the rate at which prices have increased, and they're nearing peaks. And frankly, it's a little bit hard to keep track of what's going on every single day. But oil futures, it looks like, are down 4% today, but they're over $100. So the short answer to your question is the price of fuel really matters as an input to the auto transport industry.
Does it affect the pricing in that industry? Is that going to change The load, how much we haul a load for. I mean, other than I'm assuming you have the surcharge like everybody else. Fuel surcharges go up and down based on where it's going or the price of the day. But would that, if it's long term, is that going to change? Because I would think it's going to change the purchase of a vehicle on the consumer end. So hopefully that's going to translate to more for you guys. But of course, your costs are higher too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So just for us, when you say your costs, we are a software provider
Right.
that serves shippers, brokers, and carriers. We don't actually haul loads. We don't own any trucks.
Yeah.
Um, so, um,
I'm talking your customers then, I guess is
yes.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. It absolutely has an impact on our customers. I think at a very high level, there's two types of customers. There's customers that have surcharges embedded into their contracts, and there's customers that don't. Not every customer operates with fuel surcharges. Some of them just have all-in prices.
Okay.
And they take what is fundamentally fuel pricing risk.
Right. Right.
And so the customers that do that, at least the ones that I've talked to, um, are going back to their customers and are saying, hey, the stuff we agreed to in February and March, it's a different world. And so they're having those discussions and, loads are being repriced. I think that, I've only been the CEO of the company for 18 months. And I am by nature a learner. I'm just a very curious guy. If you spent time interviewing other members of Super Dispatch, they would say one thing Matt does is ask a lot of questions.
That's how you get to be CEO, right? I thought that's the whole job.
Yeah, sure. Just ask questions.
Just keep asking. Hopefully, having the answer is the other part of that. But asking questions, I'm sure, is not how.
Yes, you gotta figure out the answer.
Yeah.
But I had this fundamental question, which is basically the question you're asking, which is like, listen, when fuel prices go from 350 to 550 in 4 weeks, what happens? Like, what actually happens? And so what we did is we actually turned this into a public post and started showing folks the actual data, and we talked to customers and all that type of stuff. But what we did, and can I share screen? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I gave you a bill. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I guess I just said allow. Go ahead. Share.
There you go. There you go. So what we did is we built this tracker. This is public. Anybody can see this.
Yeah.
Okay. You just go to superdispatch.com and it's under the resources, fuel and transport tracker. My fundamental belief is that one of the roles we should play in the industry is democratizing data. I believe that if everybody and all parties has the data, it's a better market and an ecosystem. It's a fairer place to operate. And so what we did is we built a graph for all of our customers, whether you're shipping cars and paying carriers, which is one segment of our business, or you are a car carrier that is picking those cars up and delivering them for the shipper. And so what we did is we said, okay, like, let's take a reasonable subsegment of our customer base and a type of car, and we had to normalize the data. Like, if you're moving 7 cars, you're going to pay a different price on a per mile basis than you are if you're moving 1 car. Because if you, like in anything in life, if you buy 7 Bose speakers, it's going to be cheaper than if you buy 1 Bose speaker.
Right.
So you get, bulk, like anything, you get bulk discounts. And so that's one example of the normalization we did. We did a bunch of others, like how far the car is going, what type of car it is it operable, all those types of things that you would want to do to make sure that the data is consistent.
Right.
And then we said, okay, what's happening to price per mile? And so what this dotted red bar shows is the 7-day weighted average. And then what these blue bars show is the price per mile for all of the cars, or vehicles, I should say, that were booked on that day.
Right. Okay.
And so what you can see is, this is when the conflict started.
Yep.
late February. And you can see a steady rise in that 7-day weighted average
Right.
to right here. And then this is when the ceasefire hit. And like, listen, we have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. Are oil prices going to go up or are they going to go down? I don't know. Okay. There was a belief back when this happened that prices were going to start falling. And one of the things that we wanted to be transparent about was prices were falling. So this window of price increases that carriers were pushing on should get unwound.
Right.
But that's obviously not what has happened.
Right.
Now that you see the data play out for another month, and there's been a little bit of a plateau, but it's still increasing.
Yeah.
And so, this is, I think, the small little role that we at Super Dispatch can play in the world to inform the market as to here's what's happening.
Right. Right. That's good information for everybody. And I'm sure so let's talk about Super Dispatch for a little bit, because I mean, like myself, you go to your site, you've got lots of auto hauler trucks there. And, that's what I know you're in the auto hauler. So we're thinking of that, but you're actually the tech side. So you are, you're working with the shippers and then kind of you're working kind of like a load broker, as well as you tell us what, because you're the CEO, you should know this. I don't know this. I'm just an interview. I can play as bad as I got to.
I thought you could do this before.
I imagine it's more than one thing. I'm sure there's lots going into, and I don't want to, that's why I stopped, because I don't want to make it sound like you're just like a load broker or something like that. So tell us kind of what they do.
Yeah, we're not a load broker at all. Like the way that we describe ourselves is an end-to-end auto transport platform for shippers, brokers, and carriers. Okay, and I think that in telling the story, it starts with the historical foundation of the company. The first product we ever built 10 years ago was a mobile app for drivers of car carriers to fundamentally send e-BOLs.
Right.
And so that meant we had to have a mobile app that could take pictures,
Yep.
could get customer signature,
Yep.
and could send the BOL.
Right.
And that's the foundation of the company. And we focused entirely on carrier products for the first 6 or 7 years of the company.
Yep.
And we have expanded our carrier product set to include beyond, just the mobile app, but now we have a TMS that dispatchers use. And we become the operating system for car carriers.
Right. Okay.
We have added a load board that carriers can go look at to find loads. We have added a what we call a super card, which is an embedded fuel card inside the experience where you can get exclusive discounts.
Okay.
And we'll add more and more and more and more stuff over time to carriers. And that's the foundation of the business. We and I talk about this all the time internally. I talk about this externally. I believe that the hardest job in this industry is the carrier job.
Right.
And we are focused on building the best products for car carriers. And so we're going to roll out a bunch of other stuff over time. Like we're going to roll out and we're going to make it easier to pay drivers, because a lot of our customers have 1099 workers.
Right.
Those 1099 workers get a percentage of the gross pay. Okay, well, guess what? We know the gross pay. We know the deductions, because that actually all goes in the BOL and the invoice. And so given that we know those things, we should be able to help downstream in ramifications. We're working on reporting so that carriers can have a better sense of like, who are my most productive dispatchers? Who are my most productive drivers? Just the basic stuff of I'm a carrier and I need to operate my business as efficiently as possible, because this is a really freaking hard job.
Especially at this time in the world. Just add that part onto your thing for sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop sharing your screen here, man, if that's okay. Or
Here.
You do it on your end. That's fine.
Okay. So that's the baseline and the foundation of the business. we must take care of carriers.
Right.
And then on top of that, we've built a whole host of tools for shippers and brokers. And so we've built a TMS for shippers and brokers where they can manage the movement of their cars. And some shippers and brokers, some shippers want to go to brokers. Some shippers want to have their own in-house team. Some shippers or brokers want to go and post loads to the load board.
Right.
Some have direct relationships with carriers. Fundamentally, at the end of the day, our software allows you to do all that stuff.
Okay.
And allows you, and when I say end to end, when you are a super shipper and you send a load to a super carrier, that super carrier then delivers it entirely on the super platform. And all of that data automatically flows back. So you know exactly where the car is. You know exactly what it looked like when it was picked up. You have geotagged photos upon delivery. You have customer signature on delivery. You can, inside of the system, get payment. And so shippers can pay, the core is where is the car and what is the management system. But then we wrap that with the same sort of things like a payment solution, a pricing tool so that you know as a shipper what you should be paying for a particular lane, which is based on the millions of moves. And so it's the way that we describe it at a high level when we're talking to customers is there's a carrier like core hub with a set of services around the outside. There is a core hub for shippers that's half the wheel with the same level of services. And when you put it together, you can see the full wheel of the auto transport industry. And, I think it's a pretty powerful solution for our customers.
So one of the issues that are in the industry in general, and I don't know how auto transport sits in this, there's been a lot of I'm just going to use the word fraud, and you can go to any part of the industry that you want to talk about fraud. There's been fraud in carriers and fraud in brokers and all that. So in your system, is there a vetting process so you kind of know who is working within your system? Are you guys having those kind of, how do you minimize those challenges? I guess what I'm asking, I'm sure you're not having those kind of challenges, but how do you minimize?
Listen, I think fraud's a big challenge. Okay. So like there's different types of fraud. There's like, hey, is my load being double brokered? Which is an age-old question. I think there has been an emergence of what I believe is a bigger and more important type of fraud, which is my car getting stolen?
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
And listen, these are someone told me this. I've not verified this. Someone told me that vehicles are the third most valuable item that moves across interstate lines in aggregate behind oil and gold.
Yeah, I could believe that because in Canada here, that's the biggest issue we're having. They're going into containers, though. I don't know if they're being transported on your kind of fleet, but that's a big problem because they're going into containers overseas. So yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, the question is how do they get to those containers? And they get to those containers by a bunch of bad actors doing a bunch of things in intercepting loads. So your question of like, hey, is fraud a thing? The answer is 100% absolutely. And then the next question is, okay, what is Super doing about it?
Oh, what a great interview with Matt Bradley for sure. Make sure you check it out. Second part is coming up in the next episode. Before we do that, let's talk about fuel since we've been talking about it here. Have you got your SO fuel card? That's right. Harnwell Energies has opened their new truck stop in Woodstock, Ontario on Highway 401, exit 230, right off of the highway there. And man, it is going to be an awesome spot. It has natural gas, it has diesel, has a repair shop, has convenience stores, has a truck wash right next to it, has a cat scale, lots of truck parking, lots of RV options as well, and they are open now, my friends. I was in there to take a sneak peek, and we're going to be taking a peek, a longer option with them coming up in June, so make sure you stay tuned and check that out. But meanwhile, while you're doing that, go to harnwellenergies.com and get your SO fuel card, because it is an SO fuel card lock, and I know that you're going to love having that stop open. That was a major truck stop chain before, so you guys all know the stop, and you know how critical it is to the points going in all directions there. So thanks to Hardwire Energies for opening that up. While I'm also talking to you, if you're an owner-operator in the, if you're looking for tax help, then RS2000 Tax Services is where we go. We actually use them ourselves, so I know that they are really good. But I can tell you they are specializing in trucking and farming. They work with truck drivers and owner-operators. They come to you. You don't have to find them. I mean, they're in Kokomo, Ontario anyway. Where is that? It's by London, for those of you who are wondering. But anyway, it doesn't matter because they have people all over the province. So check out rs2000tax.com to learn all about them. Give them a call and let them know that you heard about us from the Lead Pedal Podcast. All right, make sure you join us for our second episode, which is coming up next. That's with Matt Bradley. Continue, but we're going to be switching gears and talking about cybersecurity, owner-operator efficiency, and how their system can help you run better, drive better, and keep more money in your pockets. All good things when you're an owner-operator. All right, my friends, hey, subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, and make sure you check out Super Dispatch at superdispatch.com for sure. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Here we go.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.